Hello and welcome to the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of April 15th.
Ooh.
I'm Catherine Haleko and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello. Did everybody get their taxes in? I hope you did. If not,
this is going to come up later, actually.
To listen to the podcast, it'll be great.
Yeah, I'm gonna mention this later. But for now, we're welcoming you to our weekly episode where we talk about parenting in a roundabout way, along with a little pop culture, and also today some exciting natural phenomena
that happened quite a while ago, and everybody has forgotten, but not us.
Nope.
We're still thinking about it. As we both had ideas.
We both had Eclipse, but Terry had the special side order of earthquake.
Yeah, we had the cutest little earthquake here in New Jersey. And it started and I thought it was a truck going by. And then it lasted a little while and I'm like, oh, hey, I grew up in California. I remember this. It's an earthquake. Hey, earthquake. And my son was walking by and I said, hey, this is an earthquake, man. And my husband still was quite firm that it was a truck. And I'm like, no, it lasted too long for a truck and it was too steady. It was an earthquake. Right. So this is the night in my California youth. After the earthquake, you would go outside and all your neighbors would come outside and you'd all go, did you feel that? That was an earthquake.
Right.
Wow.
That was an earthquake. Hey.
Now, of course, everybody goes on Twitter to say,
right.
Earthquake? Did you feel that? Did everybody feel that? It was so... Twitter is usually such a morass of bitterness and hate. And every now and then, for just the shortest of moments, we're all coming together to go, hey, did you feel that? Was that an earthquake? Hey, it was an earthquake. There was an earthquake. I felt it here. I felt it there. It lasted like 10 minutes. And then somebody said, oh, the epicenter was near Trump's golf club in New Jersey. And then it just all went.
Oh, boy.
All went downhill from there. But for that little glimmer of time,
right,
we were all together. And it was so fun. But anyway, and then we talked, anywhere you went in New Jersey for the next couple of days, people were talking about it.
Right.
And it was, a nice conversation starter. Hey, did you feel that?
Yeah.
What did you think it was at first? So, people here not so experienced with the earthquakes. But
right.
I know one when I feel it.
Mm-hmm.
But I should have just gone and stood in the door jamb for old time's sake, but it was just...
Does that do anything?
I don't know, but when I was growing up, that was the thing you did. Because it's supposedly the strongest part of the house. So if the entire house collapses around you, you will be entombed in the door jamb. And maybe
you will be standing in between two huge piles of rubble.
I think it's one of those things that's like, it's helpful for people to feel that there's something that they can do. Because I remember...
kind of like when there's a tornado, you should get in the bathtub or something.
When I was in Kansas City, they said, go down to your neighbor in the apartment downstairs and get in the bathtub with a mattress over you.
Right. With a stranger.
Am I bringing my own mattress from upstairs? I'm not sure I can handle that. It's like, that's okay. I will just be killed in the storm. It's fine.
Right.
But I remember, I think it was the Silmar quake. Would have been in maybe the 60s or early 70s. It was big. And I remember my mom running down the hallway from her room to my room, grabbing me, running back to her room, and we stood in the doorway. And I'm like, glad the house stayed up while you were running back and forth, Mom. We probably could have just been in the door jams nearest us, but no, she wanted me to be with them, and I appreciate that. I was pretty little.
Right.
So, but... I don't think I have ever really particularly experienced an eclipse. I don't know. There have been some. I don't know what I was doing. I don't think I ever put on the glasses and looked at it. I think I did pretty much what I did this time, which is just minded my own business. But
if you recall...
You actually did something, right?
Well, if you remember, in 2017, I actually drove all the way to the path of totality.
I do kind of remember that.
We do have an old episode somewhere where I talked about it, so we'll have to find that. And because we go back that far.
Yeah.
This time, there was no opportunity to travel to it, and but we got I don't know. I think we got like 80% or something, reasonably interesting where we live.
Uh-huh.
So, and we had one pair of glasses from the last time. And it was funny because I was at the library the morning of, and, all over the place it had been saying, get glasses at your library.
Yeah.
And I was working in an area near where the main phone line information phone answerer was sitting, and it was just nonstop. No, we're out. No, we don't have any more. No, we don't have any, a call after call after call after call. I was she drew the short straw that day.
I kept seeing posts from our library on social media saying, we're out. We're out. Please don't ask. We're out.
Right.
Don't call. Yep. Don't come by.
Yep.
No more.
And then I happened to go into the other library in my town that day, and they had a big sign up that said, nope, we don't have any.
Wow.
So, and then, after the eclipse, you see all these posts here's where you can donate your glasses. I was like, well, if I would have donated them the last time, I wouldn't have even had the one pair that I have. So I might have to keep them.
Yeah, definitely.
So what happened was I was working in the early shift in the morning, and as I'm leaving work, my husband had texted me and said, call me when you're free. I was like, ooh, what's this about? So it turned out that there was a gas leak in our neighborhood, right by our house, and he had been evacuated.
Oh my gosh.
A firefighter had come to the door and said, you need to leave.
Oh, wow.
Because they were digging in the street behind us, and they must have hit the gas line.
Hey.
So he just took the 2 dogs and the 1 pair of Eclipse glasses and bolted. Don't let those out of your sight. Because they were kind of expressing some urgency. So he left. Mm-hmm. So he called me and he was like, well, you can't go home. And I didn't really know what to do. So I drove, part way home or most of the way home. And then I was like, well, I guess I'll take a walk. Started taking a walk. I'm checking in with him. I walked close to our house and I could see that the fire trucks and, police cars were still blocking the street. Mm-hmm. So, and then I went and got myself a sandwich and met with my husband where he was with the dogs sitting in the park. Just okay. Killing time.
Yeah.
And then we took the dogs and we walked back towards our house, and we could see that the police car was gone that had been blocking the street. So we checked in with the gas company, power company truck, and said, "Can we go in our house now?" And they said yes. And
okay.
I was like, I'm not sure if I believe them, but okay. So we went inside, but then we had to go retrieve our cars that were in the park nearby. So we go to the cars, or we walk up there, and then my husband just sits down on a bench, and I was like, well, what are you doing? He's like, well, the eclipse is starting, and, it's going to be, the peak of it's going to be in an hour, so I'm just going to stay here and watch. It's like, but we only have 1 pair of glasses, really? So I guess I'm staying here too.
So you all just made a day of it.
So we just sat on the park bench for an hour, and
were the dogs still with you at this point, or did you leave them behind?
No, we had brought the dogs back.
Okay.
So
were they inside the house or outside?
No, they were inside.
Okay. Not out in the back staring at the eclipse.
No. Somebody, I forget, I don't remember who, looked it up and said they don't look up, so you don't have to worry about them searing their eyeballs. So
have to get the little glasses?
No. But anyway, so yeah, we sat on a park bench overlooking the lake. Ooh. And periodically just taking turns looking at it with our single pair of Eclipse glasses.
Oh my gosh.
And then as soon as it hit the peak that it was getting to, we left. So
wow. That sounds actually like a lovely way to experience the eclipse, though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if I wasn't a little bit stressed about leaving the dogs alone and not working for like several hours between the gas leak and the eclipse, I would have enjoyed it a little bit.
If you'd had like another pair of glasses, but still.
Yeah. But, there were people around, people were walking by. Most of them were, stopping to look and, chatting a little bit. So it was nice.
So was it cool? Was it worth the trouble?
It's neat. I mean, having seen the whole thing, the totality, which I did 7 years ago, it is very different. And it is very cool to see.
Yeah.
The partial is still interesting. It's still wild to like look at the sun and see it like crescent shaped, because that's what it looks like when it's partial. You get like a little bite taken out of it and then bigger and bigger and bigger, like Pac-Man. Until it's like an actual crescent, and that's funny to see, So yeah,
we did absolutely nothing for it. And I like my son was working that day, and he works in the parking lot at the Home Depot. And so I kept saying to him, don't look up, make sure you don't look at the sun, don't look at the sun. Have they said anything to you? Are they giving you glasses? What are you going to do? So it turns out he just went in and had lunch then. So he was inside. My husband was just driving home at that time, and I'm like, are you sure it's okay? And he says, it's fine. And my daughter was wanting to go someplace, and I said, I don't want you driving home during the eclipse. So she stayed home, and she went out in the backyard, but we didn't have glasses. So she was just like hoping to experience it in some meaningful way without actually looking at it. Right. She had the dog out there with her. I was worried about the dog, but I'm glad to hear you say that there was no risk. So she was kind of underwhelmed by it, because just like standing outside but not looking at it, not so spectacular.
No, it's not that interesting.
Over the fence, there was a bunch of high school kids with glasses on, and they seemed to be much more impressed by it. But she was underwhelmed, probably thinking, I could have been driving in this. What the heck? So I wanted to go.
Well,
bowling,
if there's
Mom,
a next time, if there's a next time, what you do is, get glasses, and also get something like a colander or something with small holes in it, and it makes fun shadows.
Oh, okay.
So you hold that up in the sun, and then you look at the shadows, and it makes like crescent shadows.
Okay.
So that's what you can do next.
I think my kids would look at me funny if I tried to do that, but okay.
Right.
Mom. Oh, well.
What do you mean? So.
Yeah. But the next one is like 22 years or something, right? It's not as close as this last one.
Yeah, in the U.S., I think.
Okay. Nobody in my family understands how that can possibly be. But I just said, I saw it online, so it's true. I saw it on Twitter. Go away. So.
Speaking of weird natural phenomenon.
Yeah, they could have used an eclipse or an earthquake in those episodes of Reservation Dogs that we watched. We watched season 3, episode 5, and episode 6. And my own personal earthquake in watching these episodes was seeing the title card that came up at the beginning of episode 5, which said 1976. Yeah. And then there's a bunch of people in high school, and they are Bucky, Brownie, Maximus, Fixico, Irene, and Mabel, the oldest generation. I was in high school in 1976, Catherine. I was a junior.
You were out there wearing your bell bottoms.
I was not wearing my bell bottoms and taking drugs, but I was in high school in 1976. I was pretty ticked that I wasn't graduating in 76 because that was the bicentennial and it was real cool. Would have been cool to graduate that year. I graduated in 77. But so That's my generation. Is the elders. I am an elder.
You knew that already, dear.
I guess I did, but this rubbed my face in it.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yikes. I'm quite old, is what I've gleaned from this. But,
I feel like you don't look as old as Grandma Mabel and...
Yeah, but you never see me because we don't have the photos on Zoom when we're recording, so...
It was interesting that in the second episode, we revisit many of those people in the current day. But Big was not in the first episode.
Well, I don't think he's that generation.
Right. I think he's
younger. He's the same generation as Cookie, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I think so. Or maybe a little older than her, but not as old as these guys. Though he fits right in.
Yeah, he sure does.
Oh, yeah. So that was really, it was very nicely done. I mean, these weren't made to be watched in pairs, but the fact that we happened to watch these two where we were watching the flashback and then the next episode had them all in the current day, almost all of them.
Right.
So
I know.
That was nice. It was kind of fun.
Yeah.
I did have to, at the beginning of episode 5, House Made of Bongs, which was taking place in 1976, I had to go on IMDb and pull it up so I could figure out who everybody was supposed to be.
Yeah.
That was very helpful. The captioners could have put the name of who was speaking every time. They did it occasionally, but if they had done it every time, it would be much
only
easier.
Once in a while. I know.
But, oh man. That was sort of the origin story for Maximus, who he met when he took Bear in briefly and talked about the aliens. So,
right. Yeah, we got to see him actually.
Yeah. What
his vision was while he was very much under the influence of LSD.
Yes.
But he really very much believed that he had seen it.
He did. So. He did. And, it's interesting. Each of the generations here have had their little cluster of friends, like the ones that we started following at the beginning.
Right.
And it had sort of the same dynamic here. And the same loss, again, everybody. In this case, it wasn't somebody who got killed, but somebody who was lost to them, as they were talking about in episode 6.
Right.
So, and when we met Maximus, he sure did indeed seem lost. So, in many ways.
Yeah.
So this was a very interesting pair of episodes. They really fed off each other.
Right, absolutely. I mean, they even had the name of the second one we watched. It's called Frankfurter Sandwich, and Bucky was singing that in the first episode as well. Right. We've got very little of Bear and Elora and Willie Jack in either of these.
Right.
They made brief appearances in Frankfurter Sandwich.
Just trying to get Cheese back into the fold, and Cheese is feeling like they're going to leave him behind, so he's going to just leave first. But by the end, they convince him that he should not let himself be lost, as Maximus
I mean, it was quite self-aware of him.
Yes.
As a 15-year-old or whatever he is, to say like, oh, they're going to leave me, so I'm going to leave them.
He's a very self-aware character, that kid.
Yes.
I like him. And the glasses look very good on him. So
yes.
He's seeing things now more clearly in all sorts of ways.
Right. He sure is, now that he's got those glasses.
Yep. But I could have done without the zombie virtual reality thing at the beginning, but okay.
Oh, yeah. That was just showing him playing a video game. But I did enjoy how Grandma Irene was like, all right, we're getting this kid out of his bedroom, away from this video game. I'm calling in the uncles. Get to it.
Yep. That was a nice follow through. Fun to see her as a young person.
Yeah. All of them. Yeah.
Yeah. The kid who did young Brownie must have been studying that older actor's moves, because he was He had it down pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
He really seemed like you could see the older Brownie in him.
Yeah.
And we got to see some more Bigfoots. There was a lot of people peeing in this episode. Human and Bigfoot.
Right. Cryptid, I believe, is the term.
Okay, excuse me.
I mean, I think that's a catch-all term for,
Okay.
Possibly mythical being, I guess. That's how it goes. Yeah. So,
Well, they have the same kind of glowing eyes as the demon deer, so.
That's right.
Only red. I think the deers were green.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're closing in on the end here.
I know. It's, I wished it had gone on more, but these were fun. I liked these episodes.
Yeah. Even though, this one had that thing of someone's driving a car when they're impaired and you're just on the edge of your seat the whole time. I
was real worried, except I know all those people were alive in the future, so something was going to happen, but it was not going to be a fiery crash.
Right.
I didn't think any of them were maimed in the future either. They all seem to have all their limbs and stuff. So, but yes, it was nervous making nonetheless.
Right.
Really? You're going to let him drive? Don't let him drive.
Yeah. But, I mean, if he didn't, none of them were.
They could probably just sleep in the car right where they were, I think.
They should have, for sure.
Somebody should have stopped them, but...
But then he wouldn't have met the star people.
Yeah. Look how well that went for him.
True.
Oh, well.
Yes.
Anyway, so looking forward to seeing how this season and the series wraps up.
Yeah.
I don't have that many more episodes. But it's really not one of those shows that has, a complete through line with the same people being in the center every week. It just kind of wanders off in these digressions, but they're really enjoyable. Whatever you want to put in front of me.
Right.
Prefer this to the horrible Indian boarding school of a couple of episodes ago. But whatever you want to put in front of me, I'll watch it.
Right.
It's well done, interesting, fun, and it all wraps up back together at some point.
Yeah. It's all connected.
She's passing around the stick like they did at the boys' home and reducing everybody to weeping. Was
not just weeping, full on
sobbing.
Bawling.
Yes. He has a gift for that one.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of thought that they were faking it at first. Like the way Big was just
yeah.
I don't know. I didn't think it was necessarily real, but then it seemed as though
it was genuine.
Was. Yeah.
So, and she's just sort of like, okay.
He said something like, well, that went better than I thought it would. Or more effective. This was more effective.
Right. And a therapy session right out there in the woods. Look at you, man.
Yep. And then he called up the friends and they brought Sonic and all was well.
Yes, that was nice that he made the connection for himself also, without weeping, but still, that he needed to do this.
Right.
Good for him.
I did think it was interesting that at the beginning of that episode, his grandma said, your relatives are here.
Yeah.
To see you. And so I didn't necessarily think that it was going to be the friends.
Uh-huh.
So, I don't know, just...
Is that like everybody's an uncle or cousin?
I guess, yeah. Or it just reinforces that, they're like a family,
Have we ever gotten a backstory to Cheese and why he doesn't have any family?
I don't think we have.
I wonder if we will.
Yeah.
Or if it will just be a thing that is.
Right.
It seems like there should be a story there.
Right. And we certainly get a lot of Elora's.
Yes, we do. he seems fairly well adjusted to it, except now deciding he'll just cut himself off from his friends because,
right,
nobody stays, whatever.
Well, maybe in the next 4 episodes we'll find out.
It's not much time. There's lots of loose ends waving in the breeze here, you guys.
I know. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on then.
Shall we move on to Catherine's Library Find of the Week?
Yes. No, this is not for arachnophobics. But
all right, I'm just gonna take my headphones out. Just send me a comment when you're done.
Do you really have a fear of spiders?
I would prefer they not invade my space.
Okay.
If they want to mind their own business out in spider world, that is absolutely cool. I bear them no ill will. But if they're walking across my tabletop or my sink or my shower or my bed, then go away. I don't want to see you. Kind of like the mice in my kitchen. Sort of the same feeling.
Yeah.
Don't get in my face.
Right. Well, here we have the story called Luigi, the Spider Who Wanted to Be a Kitten. By
That's
Michelle.
Quite an evolutionary leap there. The spider who wants to be a kitten. He couldn't want to be an ant or a
He's kind
grasshopper.
of a hairy spider.
He could want to be a mouse. It's just as annoying.
He is an adorable, like, large hairy spider.
Okay.
So he wants, which sounds like an oxymoron.
It's cute and lovable instead of something that scares people.
Right. And he uses his extra legs. Kittens only have 4 legs. He's got 8. So he takes 2 and makes them into ears. And he takes, I think, 2 more and makes them into a tail. So he's clever, Luigi. It's the story of how he comes to live with this sweet older lady named Betty. And she plays with him like he's a kitten. And of course, this can't be sustained forever. So it's the story of what happens when
does he come to accept his spider self?
He does. Yes. As you would expect for a kid's picture book, but he is really quite an adorable little guy. So illustrated by Kevin Hawkes. I encourage you to check out the cover. At least look at the cover so you can see Luigi and how cute he is.
He's very cute for something horrifying.
Right, for being a spider that is basically the size of a kitten.
I know. That's a big spider. If that sucker lands in my presence, I don't think he's living for very long, but okay. First thing I wouldn't think of is kitty.
Yeah.
Kitty.
Well, perhaps the implication is that this older lady, Betty, doesn't see very well. And that's how he gets away with
picking
it.
Himself out of grandma and then just moving in with her. So
exactly, I think it's very similar to the story of Cheese and Irene.
It does seem like.
But yes, a very cute, another cute picture book for our collection. Oh, and it's new. It just came out in March 2024.
Oh, wow.
So here we are bringing you the new information.
The latest and greatest books about large hairy spiders.
Large hairy spiders.
You're welcome.
That's right.
Oh, my. Cute, but alarming. Couldn't be a little bit less spidery looking. Couldn't he be a little more cartoony there, Kevin Hawkes? Those little striped legs. There's a little... Oh, okay.
The hair is significant.
Significant hair. I would not want to see that thing in real life. But okay. Fortunately, if I took my glasses off, maybe like the old lady, I would think it was a kitten. So
yeah.
Maybe that's the secret to my life, is just to leave my glasses off. I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah. The mice will look like puppies. It'll be great. Of course, about 5 minutes before I fall over something and break every bone in my body. So, but up until then, it'll be nice.
There's a trade-off involved for sure.
Yes, it's time to trade off books to old podcast episodes.
That's right.
As we go on a spin through the archives. and see what we were talking about 2 years ago and 5 years ago this very week.
That's right.
On April 17th of 2019, we were talking about homework, but not the homework that our kids have to do, but the homework that comes to parents to do. For example, homework for preschoolers. Who do they think is going to do that?
Right.
And, there's homework for the older kids. It involves that you pretty much have to sit at the table with them and make sure that they're doing it right or that they are doing it, guide them through it. I used to, with my son, have to give him a bribe for every 2 minutes of homework. Here's a goldfish cracker. Let's do another.
Right.
And then also, I think we talked about the school parent portals that were a high degree of difficulty associated with them. Maybe there's more than one. Maybe they don't work right. Maybe your kid's teacher never puts anything on it. I think I mentioned teachers that didn't do email. This was a long time ago. Surely they do email now. Surely all teachers do, right? But at the time, it was like, oh, no, we only make phone calls in the middle of the day when people are at work. That's the way we do things. So as our kids have grown older, of course, we've had the gigantic homework project of college applications. At least you have. I have not. Community college. Yay. But,
yeah, well, I was thinking of this, first of all, just continuing to be grateful that we're basically done with it. I still have my kids can you read this paper? Whatever. But that's quite different from dragging them.
With job applications.
Right.
Letters after the job application, after the job interview. And practicing for the job interview.
Yeah.
This is my homework.
But the other thing that this made me think of was taxes, because we have been helping our older one do hers. And, my husband was like, I can't do this. I can't do. I'm like,
yeah.
Didn't you ever do it? When you were her age. So, and we got it. I was like, because for some reason last year and maybe even the year before that, we had our accountant do our daughters. And this year I was like, well, that's silly. We should be able, if she has one W-2, we should be able to do this. But then
after you had done it, did you still feel that way?
Mostly. But, the time was running out and they charge so much and, and, I remember last year I all of a sudden was like, oh shoot, she needs to do it for the state where she lives, because that's where she earned her money. So this year I was like, okay, well, we'll get the state one and we'll do that with her. And then of course we start trying to do the state one. Well, we need information from the federal one in order to do the state one. So
yes, it is the basics of doing the taxes. I could do myself. It's just that there are so many questions that come up that I don't know the answer to.
Right.
What do I put on this line? Where do I find that? Where does that come from? Are you eligible for this? I don't know.
Right.
So for many years, I did our taxes on the computer. And then at some point, it fell into that category of, I would rather spend the time making money doing something I do well to pay somebody to do this thing that I do not do well, nor enjoy.
Right.
So I finally and it still worked because you have to get together all your stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And she gives a packet that I have to fill out all the stuff on the packet. So there's still some procrastination going on.
Right.
But, and it's so expensive.
Yeah.
But then I was having my husband do the taxes with my daughter online, and it's, it's free. It's easy. She just has the one little job. But there's just all these things. He kept calling me, and do we have to fill this out? What's this? It's like, I don't know. So we just started paying the tax person to do our kids, even though they're super simple. And she charges a ridiculous amount for them because they're super simple.
Right.
But I don't have to do it. It's just like I have this many minutes left in my life. I will pay you, you know. Talk to my daughter about how working and buying are trading your money, trading your time for money, and then trading your money for things, and sometimes trading your money for time.
Right.
I will trade my money for time.
Right.
Just please don't make me do it. My husband went to college for accounting, by the way. Does he do this? No, he does not. I do it because it's my business that makes it difficult.
Right.
But yeah, I pass that on. But even then, there's still homework.
Yeah.
Because you have to,
there's still homework.
you have to get all the stuff together. I have to. She gives a packet to fill out, which is helpful to her, and I understand that. So I fill it out, and then she sends it back, and it's like I'm supposed to look this over and say it's all true. I don't understand this. My brain
I have no idea.
ticking down as soon as I start looking at pages. And it's like, well, she seems honest. Okay, I'll just sure.
Yep.
Oh my. But yes, that is parent homework, having to help the kids with that. And not knowing. I mean, they should do it themselves. Or they should do it with our help. It would be good for them to do it and see how it happens. And they should donate to me whatever money they get to pay for the work that I had somebody else do on their behalf. But no, it's okay. Enjoy that money. Yeah, enjoy that refund.
She ended up with like $75 in refunds. So
she will spend on herself with no thought to you.
Yep.
But and the job hunt is also parent homework. I find maybe because my kids are living at home, but you know, helping with the filling out the application, talking through what the interview is going to be like. Hearing about the interview after and making some suggestions. Okay, now you're going to write an email to say thank you for the interview, or thank you know, when you get the email says you didn't get the job, you still send an email back. Just like all these trying to, you know, think of everything that you should be doing.
Yeah.
Or they should be doing. I mean, I'll find the jobs and I'll help them fill out the application for the jobs. I'll drive them to the interview. It's just, and then once they're working, then my only job is worrying.
Right.
So that's
yeah, we're back around to that for summer for my son. Like, and here's where it turns out that not pushing for him to have a job in high school is coming back to bite us because nobody wants to hire him for just a summer. Yeah. But if he were going back to some place he'd already been, they would be thrilled to have him.
Shoot.
So that's a problem.
Yeah, that is.
So we'll see. And also he's going away for 2 weeks. You know, he's doing like sort of a class, a study away sort of thing. So that cuts into his time. So
yeah. Oh man.
What's going to happen?
But he's coming home to stay for the summer, except for the various things he's doing.
Yes.
He's not staying there. Yeah.
No, he's
trying to think if I worked in summers when I was in college. I know once I was living, the last 2 years I just stayed there the summer between, and I worked. But that was a job that I had like during the school year, and I just kept doing it over the summer. I started in the summer, and then I kept going during the school year, something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did.
But to go home and find someplace that wants to hire you for 2 months, maybe not.
Yeah, it's turning out to be hard. So. Well, at least he's obsessed with things that are expensive.
There you go. Yes, in the same year, the same week, we talked about why we love our kids' obsessions. What is his obsession that he's wanting to spend stuff on?
Well, besides clothes, you know,
my daughter buys a lot of clothes. My son, no. I mean, he's still very interested in airplanes, even though he doesn't necessarily. I mean, he'll send me like Facebook Marketplace. Here's a plane for sale. Can I have $40,000? Does he want you to buy you a plane? Buy him a plane?
I mean, he's like, if I, you know, my two friends and I could go in together. I'm like, yeah. He
does realize you then have to pay for a place to keep it.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
you're not going to put it in your dorm room.
No. The whole thing is ridiculous. But
And then does he know how to fly? Does he have a pilot's license?
no.
So,
But, he could get one.
I see. So the thing is to buy the plane first.
Yeah.
And then learn how to fly it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing he doesn't have money.
Mm-hmm. Totally. So, yeah. So
my son is still still thinking over the driver's license thing and working on that. But he has a whole bunch of ideas as to the car he wants. I'm like, license first, car second.
Yes.
I think he would very much like to just buy the car and have it here. And then whether he gets a license or not, he can
just go sit in it from time to time.
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, this was actually a great episode. The one that we did back in 2019, just talking about how you can really use those obsessions to connect with your child. And that's still happening, I would say, for sure.
Yeah. It's still somewhat true. Not quite as much with my son as it used to be. He still wants keys, but he can never decide which ones he wants. So it's just, it goes on forever. But I think, I still, as I talked about in that episode, when he was a kid, it was such a good door into his attention.
Right.
To talk about keys or to show him keys or to use keys to bribe him to do things. And the people who would go along with that had great success with him. And the people who didn't and thought, no, this is wrong. He should just pay attention. We don't want to do anything. We don't want to feed this obsession. This is wrong. Those people have earned my eternal enmity.
Right.
And also they just never got very far.
Yeah.
It's like, speaking of keys, this is the key to him.
Right.
Why do you not want to use it? Why do you want to throw it away and look for a back door?
Right.
Use the key.
Exactly. It's right here.
So, yep. And now my daughter is obsessed by soap operas and really dicey sounding TV movies.
Oh.
I'm not so sure about that, but at least she doesn't ask me to engage with her. She just goes down. She has her little place now.
Right.
She can watch all her scary movies on Lifetime and General Hospital, and I don't have to be involved.
Right.
I don't know that that's good for anything other than just, I guess, being an adult and part of the general popular culture.
Right, and having your own thing that you do that you don't necessarily do with your parents.
Yeah. And if she met anybody else who was into that stuff, she would have something to talk about. Mm-hmm. Not going to be me. Not going to watch that stuff. Absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah, my ability to participate in obsessions does end with video games. Neither of my kids is super into video games, but watching them play a video game is the worst. Just because I used to have to do that when I babysat. I had a kid who would play games and would want me to watch him play, and I would. Would
he pay attention to whether you were, or could you sit there with a book and say, "Oh yeah, I'm watching. I see it," or would he make you do it?
No, he would be like, "Look at this, watch this, see it." He'd be constantly "Yes, I see you. I get it."
Yeah, that is fairly excruciating. Just like me trying to share music I'm obsessed with my family.
They love it.
Scatter like mice.
That's right.
Yeah. Did you hear this new Taylor Swift song?
It's a good way to get rid of it.
But already has
can I have some peace and quiet? No.
That's true. Here, let me just play this music.
Let me play this song. Okay.
Everybody has something else to
do.
Darn it. It's just, it would be nice, wouldn't it, to have somebody kind of sharing your little pop culture obsessions. This is why the podcast has gone on so long, Catherine. It's
I know.
So we can watch things and talk about them with somebody. Right. Mention them to my kids. Oh, I'm watching this cool show. Nothing.
I do like Cowboy Carter. I don't know if you've listened, but
I have not.
I enjoy it.
I have been. I've been delving into the Taylor Swift playlists that are playing up to her her new album. So she sorted many of her songs by the 5 stages of grief. And so I've been enjoying delving into that. Mm. So I sort of am letting Cowboy Carter pass by and see what people think of it. But I'm aware of it.
You're aware of its work. Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Also, there's a new Hicks tape with all Joe Diffie songs, and that's very fun. So,
okay.
I've been stuck in the past. And speaking of being stuck in the past,
that's right.
In 2022, this week, we talked about kids' stuff side hustles, which is, I think, we had heard about an Airbnb type service that lets you rent out your yard to dogs.
Right.
You know, it's like if somebody is living in an apartment and doesn't have a yard, they can pay you to come let their dog poop in your yard. And, we thought, well, could we have somebody pay us to use the slide and the swing set my kids are no longer using? Mm-hmm. Maybe the above ground pool. Maybe the children's books. You can come to my house. You can read the children's book.
That's right.
That are just still sitting in a bookcase in my living room, even though my kids are in their 30s. They might want to read Henry and Mudge again. It could happen.
Yeah.
So I might want to read Henry and Mudge
again.
You might. It will definitely happen. The ones, I just narrowed it down to the ones that I just can't part with. Brown bear. There you are. But, you got the 5 million pieces of Legos. Somebody wants to bring their kid over to play Legos and the mess stays at your house. I'd take a little money for that.
Yeah.
And, at the time we were talking about video cassettes, except are there any VCRs? Does anybody have a VCR anymore? I've just been giving them away to like Goodwill, and I'm sure they're going to end up in the trash because it's not a thing.
People definitely still check out DVDs from the library, all the time, but we don't have video cassettes anymore.
Yeah, I have a couple of video cassettes that I need to know. I want to get them transferred to digital, but I'm not sure which tape it is. So I sort of need to watch it first to see, and I don't have anything to watch it on, so they're just sitting in a box. Is like the tape from when the couple before us went to Russia to get their kids, and they took a bunch of pictures of our kids too. Mm. And I really would like my daughter to have that.
Yeah.
But I didn't document it while I could. And now it's also on a tape that has TV shows on after that. So these people just taped over an existing tape. And I know that if I send it to, what's the box something?
Oh, yeah, I know.
There's a place you can send it off to and they will digitize it, but they can't do anything that's has a copyright. And it's well, stop. When it's no
when you get to that part.
And when it's suddenly a TV show, you could just stop there, please.
Right.
So, but back to the topic. I mean, think of all the things. I bet you have a bunch of sports equipment that you could rent out.
Yep.
And things that our kids have outgrown.
That's right.
We emptied out a whole closet full of stuffed animals when we were getting the apartment set up downstairs. That I had clearly, I can't throw these stuffed animals away because they were dear to my children, but my children could care less.
Right.
So I'm just going to stuff it into this closet in this room we never use, and who cares? And then we opened it up, and it's like, oh, here they all are. I know I really do have to get rid of them. Except my daughter did grab a couple of them. But Clifford, the big red dog.
Aww.
Big Clifford. This topic makes me cry.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do we have now that we could rent out? My dog would be happy to rent out our yard to strange dogs to just come and play with her for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Come by, play, poop, and so long.
Right.
My dog needs to run in order to be able to do her duty.
Oh.
So she goes out in the yard. She runs around like a crazy person. She does her thing, and then she wants to come in. That's it. So, and I can relate. Sometimes you need to walk around to
get the
prime the pump.
Get things moving.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Well, I think I've talked about before. We have on the side of our house we have two houses, front and back, and each has 2 dogs. And the ones in the back, every once in a while, especially when they were younger, they would come invited, they would come into our yard and play with our dogs. And the one would play and play and play and play. And she's fine. She'd play forever. The other one would, after maybe 1 minute, would be at the back door like, okay, I'm going inside now. These people, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, get me out of here.
When are they going home?
Exactly.
Yes.
It's like when your kids had a play date and they're like, I am done here.
It's like how when we have people over, sometimes my husband will just disappear to the back bedroom and be found watching TV. It's just like, a little bit of socializing, and that's it. He's done.
And that was enough.
Time for Perry Mason.
Yes.
Exactly. Speaking of obsessions. But, college textbooks. I wonder if that's a thing you could... we should have returned ours. We always returned them. We rented them and returned them or bought them and then sold them back. But I have we must just not have ever gone back and done that after the last semester. So I have 2 huge piles of my kids' college textbooks, plus some of mine, which for some reason I thought I needed to hold on to. So perhaps I could have a little lending library in my basement. That would be a side hustle here.
I'm sure those books are still perfectly the ones from your college days. Things haven't changed at all.
Science may have changed some. Let's see. I have a textbook on functional human anatomy. Why I felt I needed to keep that, I have no idea.
Why you took that in the first place, I have no idea.
Well, it was probably a prerequisite, but...
Yeah, sounds pretty serious for...
Yeah, I have my Riverside Shakespeare, and I used to have a book of Chaucer. Where did my book of Chaucer go to? I'd have to find that. But anyway, yes, and then we have all his, my son was studying food service, and so we have a whole bunch of food-related books just kind of sitting, and you can't throw them out. Guess you could give them away.
Yeah.
But, if anybody's taking that class and wants to rent it. Well, our side hustle is and continues to be this podcast.
Yeah, it's an expensive side hustle.
Yeah, side hustles are supposed to make you money, not cost you money, right?
Not cost you money. Oh, well.
Spread the word, everybody, so we can pretend like we're hustling here.
But for now, we'll say that's it for the Parenting Roundabout Weekly Roundup. Next week, we have Reservation Dogs Season 3, Episode 7, Wahoo, and 8, Send It.
Ooh.
And then only one more week after that with the final 2.
Shoot.
You can find all our episodes on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. You can also talk to us on our Facebook page, on Instagram, or on Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat. And please visit our Amazon shop at amazon.com/shop/momitude, where you can find links to a lot of the things we've talked about over the years. We'll see you back here next Tuesday. Bye, Terry.
Bye, Catherine.
Bye, everyone.